What are some of the challenges that you've had when running an event, and what are some of the lessons you've learned that you can share with the audience?
So some of the challenges I think that I've had, and even still very frequently, is just the educational piece from the client. So the budgets that they're presenting are very Pinterest worthy or very, website worthy in terms of what they want, but they're not educated, quote unquote, on the industry to know what the pricing is. So it's, what they want versus what they're willing to put money into is vastly different. Some other challenges as well have been like competition. Although I'm very focused on what it is that I'm doing, to start as an event planner, it's not a large overhead. You don't need a lot of money to do it. Essentially, you need a laptop, and a couple of programs, and then you can be an event planner, So I found in the last few years, there's been an abundance of event planners coming out into the market and really trying to stay above that because they're focused on price and being low. And then the seasoned professionals, we're seasoned. So we have we actually have overhead. We have payroll, we have accountants, we have lawyers, we have, things that we have to account for that they don't. So the price is vastly different. Yeah. And I think another thing is really just really kind of staying true to your niche. Like how do you stay above that competition? How do you stand out above the rest? That's a challenge in itself because you're always evolving essentially as an event planner, right? And you want to try to make yourself remain a leader. I don't really like that word leader, but let's say remain a leader.
Stay on top.
Stay on top. That's it.
Why don't you like leader?
Because I feel like everyone's capable of being a leader. And I feel like leader is just it signifies like one person. And I feel like there's many people that are on top and are doing great things. It doesn't necessarily have to be one person.
Gotcha. It's almost like people have their own zones of genius.
Yeah.
Yes.
So it's hard to call one person a leader when you have to default to someone else's leadership in their zone of genius.
Yes.
Got you.
Well put, bro.
Shout out to Isaac.
Yeah.
All right. So let's get into WeRise experience. I feel like that has been because even though you've grown the event business, it feels like WeRise experience has been almost like a staple, like a flagship brand for you. Is that safe to say?
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. So walk us through the inception of it.
I started WeRise Experience because I wasn't surrounded by like-minded women. I felt like I was rowing a boat by myself. I found that it was very difficult to find the support system that I need. And what I mean by that is I don't mean support from family and friends. I mean support from industry professionals or others that are doing other entrepreneurs. And not everybody is going to have the mindset, the level of aggression and, being assertive and being a go-getter. There's a lot of introverts. There's a lot of people that, may have different things happening in their lives that they don't have access to like these resources that they need, or it may be a deterrent. They've done, they lack researching skills and they've started to research and they can't find what they're looking for. And they're like, I'm just going to throw my hands up kind of scenario. So I said, okay, you are a leader, there goes that word again, and you have access to a lot of the notables, within the city. They've either been your clients, they're your friends, or you've done some type of partnership with them, and you have a plethora of clients that are entrepreneurs that are not in the same world. So Treasa, you have the ability to fuse these two worlds. You have the ability to pick up the phone and have people in the same room. You have the ability to create a universal hub for women, Black women, allowing them to garner this access and these resources and these tools basically by just going to one source. So I woke up one day and I literally grabbed a blank piece of paper and started figuring out how I was going to make this happen. WeRise Experience initially was WeRise Brunch. So it was just a brunch. There was like an era a few years ago where there was a lot of women's brunches,
We trying to be like Rock Nation Brunch?
Right. Hopefully one day I can get there.
WeRise Brunch is going to be competing for some
Right?
foot traffic.
People said, "Did you get into the
WeRise
brunch?"
Brunch?
Right. And so I started it with the whole ideology, just bringing women together and allowing them to have a safe space to just, garner the knowledge that they needed, make connections with these two worlds that I was referencing, and just allowing for even just one day feel like they were deserving of this space and of this community. And I had done a poll maybe about 2 weeks before the first We Rise. And I received like 95% of people saying, you cannot stop this. You have to keep it going. So I was like, oh, I was just going to do it like the one time. I'm super busy. I don't have the time and energy to drive into, We Rise at the time brunch. Anyways, I did some more brainstorming. I decided that I was going to rename it to We Rise Experience because that's what everyone had referenced post We Rise, let's say the first one, that it was just an experience for them. And then unfortunately COVID hit and it slowed us down, but I was grateful for it because it slowed me down to the point that it allowed me to think very clearly. Every move that I make has to be intentional and thought out, especially when I'm tapping into or creating a community for women that look like me. So during that time, I really kind of thought about some of the challenges that women were bringing to my attention during COVID. They were starting businesses. They didn't have access to funding. They couldn't find grant writers. They were like, do we need a business plan or not? Where do I find a mentor? I'm dealing with mental, wellness issues because I'm stuck in home all day with my kids, or I'm trying to juggle work-life balance. Now I'm forced to work from home. Like all of these things were just coming into my inbox because I do mentor. I don't mentor just event planners, but, business professionals in a whole. And so it allowed me to rebrand, rethink about the moves that I wanted to make. And then I launched We Rise Experience. So essentially We Rise Experience is the first of its kind. There's been a lot of, women groups, but this is the largest Black women's business summit in the country. So it is currently self-funded, but if I'm rowing that boat, I know eventually I'm going to get some people that will, pour into me as I'm pouring into others. But that's the focus, and that's We Rise Experience.
This podcast is brought to you by Treasa Cellars. If you didn't know, Treasa Cellars is the only Black-owned wine company in Canada. Right now, I'm holding the rosé, the 2021 rosé bottle. This drink is amazing. I mean, it's perfect for those dishes such as seafood, where you're cooking shrimp, you're having some pasta, whatever it is you're having. Grab a bottle of Treasa Cellars, the rosé. If you're having a date night with your significant other, you know what to grab. Grab the Treasa. Whatever it is, grab the Treasa. I mean, you will not go wrong with this wine. It's perfect for everybody. If you've never drank wine, this is a great bottle for you. Or even if you're a wine expert, you're an aficionado and you drink everything, I mean, you cannot go in Treasa. I'm telling you, this wine is really, really good. And even though I'm boosting it this hard, is because I really love drinking it. And I'm someone who loves to drink wine. So whatever it is, whatever the special occasion, check out Treasa. They have Sauvignon Blancs. They have Rieslings. I'm holding the rosé right now. They have a wide variety of different collections of different wines you can choose from. Make sure to check them out. The link is going to be in the description. Check them out. Order a crate for yourself, or you can send a gift to someone that you want to gift some wine to. You can't go wrong with that. So in your Treasa Cellars, check them out. Link will be in the description. And now back to the show. So what was that first wow moment for you when launching We Rise Experience?
Just the gratitude that I was feeling and getting from these women that I don't even know, that were just genuinely excited, genuinely feeling fulfilled, genuinely feeling that they were in a space that they could, garner this knowledge, genuinely feeling like they now have tools to, pick up the momentum in their business. So definitely that gratitude was very overwhelming for me, but it was very satisfying. And I think that would be my first wow moment. Yeah.
You know what's interesting? It's almost like your life changes when you're faced with adversity. Like when you got cancer, that's when you decided, all right, I'm going to go into event groups and have an event business. Then when COVID hits, you start We Rise Experience, and then you move into that. It's almost like when you hit with adversity, you kind of just say, all right. You
rise to the occasion. No pun intended.
Oh, I never thought of it like that, but that's, I really never considered that, but that's a really good point.
Because they both kind of sat you down the same kind of way. There's kind of a lot of parallels there, no?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, man. I just had to say that. This is in my mind.
Thank you.
Yeah. Thank you so much for checking out this episode. Make sure you visit hustleovereverything.co and cop some fire merch that we have in the store. And then we'll see you in the next episode.